Nope.
Okay, so at this point, is that all the correspondence that we've received?
That's it.
Okay. Well, now that you've brought it up, yes, why don't we go ahead and read the prelude regarding remote participation, so at least it's included,
Yeah.
and we'll get that done with, and then maybe we can discuss the correspondence.
As a preliminary matter, this is Richard McGrath, Chair, Chair of the Lunenburg Architectural Preservation District Commission. I will do a roll call to confirm that all members and persons on the agenda are present and can hear me. Colin Dwyer,
Here, I can hear you.
Anthony Nicastro.
Here, I can hear you.
Good evening. In accordance with the requirements of the open meeting law, please be advised that this meeting is being recorded and broadcast over the Lunenburg Public Access Channel, and this meeting of the Lunenburg Architectural Preservation District Commission is conducted remotely. Town of Lunenburg, in response to the COVID-19 coronavirus, is currently following the guidance from the Lunenburg Board of Health, Massachusetts Department of Public Health, and the CDC regarding the virus and steps communities can take to prevent the spread, and all town facilities are only open by appointment only at this time. In accordance with the governor's order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, all public meetings are being conducted remotely. The order, which you can find posted on the town website on the COVID-19 Information Center page, accessed through the town manager's webpage, allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely, so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will feature public comment. For this meeting of the APDC is convening by Zoom video conference as posted on the town's website, identifying how the public may join. For Zoom meetings, please note that this meeting is being recorded and that some attendees are participating by video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that other folks may be able to see you, and that take care not to screen share your computer. Anything that you broadcast may be captured by the recording. And we are now turning to the first item on the agenda. Before we do so, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. I, Richard McGrath, Chair, will introduce each speaker on the agenda, and they conclude their remarks. The chair will go down the line of members, inviting each by name to provide any comment, question, or motions. Please hold until your name is called. Please remember to mute your phone or computer when you are not speaking. Please remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you and state your name before speaking. If members wish to engage in colloquy with other members, please do so through the chair, taking care to identify yourself. That's that. Let me just review the agenda. Call to order was at 7:03. Review of minutes from March 25th were accepted as presented. There was no public comment. There was correspondence was read. Now we're going to have comment. Any comment or discussion on correspondence?
I guess my main comment is that I was a little bit taken off guard here because I realized that Article 24 is the original version of the amendment that was submitted. I know Elaine Peters notified us that there was a second version of this that would not make the town of Lunenburg a special exemption. That would just make this a general rule for anybody who was aggrieved by the APD's decision, which would be, I think legally and lawfully, it would be much more universal and fair. We still objected to it, but the one that made it into the warrant was the original version, which made a special exception for the town. So that surprised me a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know anything how that occurred. I wasn't able to watch the selectmen meetings to see how that developed.
It might have just been that it wasn't submitted on time or something. I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Any comment, Anthony? Anthony, I can't hear you.
Sorry, no comment.
Okay.
Uh, Moving on, I need to speak for a short time to establish my credentials so that I can speak with authority here on this subject. I've been on the Historical Commission for 22 years. I've been on the APDC since its inception. I was advisor from the Historical Commission to the Planning Board in the forming of the APD bylaw. I'm a master craftsman in bricklaying, stonemasonry, cement finishing, tile setting, caulking and waterproofing and plastering. I've been in the trade for 51 years. I was apprenticed to my father when I was 17. He was apprenticed to his father in 1922. I had a grandfather, my father, 2 uncles, 2 brothers, and a cousin were all bricklayers. My great uncle Henry built the McGrath building at the corner of Mechanic and Main Streets in Leominster, where Bank of America is. It's one of the finest brick buildings in North Worcester County. He built that in the 1890s. I had a trowel in my hand when I was 5 years old. I went to work with my father when I was 12 and worked summers. When I was 16, I had my first job as a bricklayer during the summer, working in the construction of Montezut Regional Vocational School. At 17, I signed papers and served a 4-year indentured apprenticeship, registered with the National Labor Board in bricklaying and allied trades. I worked on construction as a bricklayer of elementary schools in Townsend, Princeton, Leominster, and Gardner High School, as well as Fitchburg Post Office, Air Courthouse, and other public and private buildings. I'm skilled in the restoration of brickwork and stonemasonry. I worked 6 consecutive years in season and on the early 20th century brick school building Academy Knoll in Marlborough during restoration work. I restored brickwork at the Lunenburg, late 19th century brick school building on Lunenburg Street in Fitchburg. I did restoration work on the old early 20th century conversion of a brick school in Medford. For years, I worked on a number of old school buildings, doing repairs for the facility managers in Fitchburg and Leominster school systems. I spent one summer doing restoration work on similar early 20th century brick buildings at Framingham State University. I had the contract for a number of years to do restoration work on early 20th century school buildings, libraries, fire and police stations for the city of Newton. I've been an expert witness to the court system, testifying in cases involving masonry. My associate Bob LaFleur, whose father was my father's apprentice after serving in World War II, was the in-house mason for the trustees of the reservation. He was picked from over 200 applicants and did extensive work at the Crane Estate in Ipswich. The Vertex public buildings, banks, and insurance company buildings are the highest quality. The Vertex report commissioned by the town states that the brick on the old primary school is in fair condition. That's not bad condition. It's fair and needs repair. I'm telling you that the foundation and brick walls on that primary building are in good condition. And if the town tears it down, it's because it wants to, not because it has to. The Architectural Preservation District purpose is this bylaw is enacted under the Home Rule Amendment of the Massachusetts Constitution for the purpose of preserving, restoring, and protecting groups of historically and/or architecturally significant buildings and the characteristics of their neighborhoods that are important to the town's architectural, cultural, economic, political, and social history. Fostering wider public knowledge and appreciation of such neighborhoods and contributing properties. Limiting the detrimental effect of alterations, substantial or minor additions, and demolitions on the character of such contributing properties and their neighborhood settings. Reviewing proposed alterations, substantial and minor, including demolition and/or any contributing property located within the APD for appropriateness and compatibility with the existing buildings, setting and neighborhood character, and facilitating the protection of the APD through a regulatory review. Demolition by neglect. Destruction by failure to maintain roof, siding, foundation, and any other aspect that requires upkeep, which could ultimately result in the contributing property being condemned. These include, but are not limited to, facades which may fall and injure members of the public, missing the other page, but it goes on to talk about roofs and facades being maintained.
Okay.
The appeal process for the APD, any aggrieved party may appeal the action of the APDC in accordance with the general laws. The town's been in violation for 2.5 years of the demolition by neglect chapter in the bylaw. The APDC urges the select board to fix the roof and bring the town into compliance with the town bylaw. And we've written a couple letters and advised them verbally that it was in neglect over that time period. The intention of the APD bylaw and APDC rules and regulations is to provide the town with impartial judgment guided by a clear bylaw and regulations. Warrant Article 24 undermines the mission and intent of the APD bylaw. It takes a clearly defined process and makes it wide open, removing the informed judgment of the APDC in matters of demolition of town properties that are contributing properties in the APD and National Historic Districts. The warrant states that a party aggrieved, that means anyone in the state, may appeal the APDC ruling by vote at town meeting. So anyone in the state, the general term aggrieved party means that anyone in the state can start a process that overrules the town commission.
Mhm.
And the select board, while not stating that, this warrant is designed to remove the possibility of the APDC from possibly in the future denying the demolition of the historic 1929 old primary school, gives the impression through the warrant's timing at Maytown meeting and its wording that this is indeed the case. The overriding and removal of the APDC from the appeals process through this warrant makes the APDC rules and regulations null and defeats the purpose of the APD bylaw. By opening up the appeals process to anyone in town and out of town creates chaos and unpredictability. If a building was truly dilapidated and the APDC made an informed decision following the bylaw and APDC rules and regulations to tear it down, an aggrieved party from anywhere in the state could start a process to overrule that APDC decision. And the APD bylaw creates certainty. Certainty creates strength. Certainty gives one something upon which to lean. Uncertainty creates weakness. Uncertainty makes one tentative, if not fearful, and tentative steps, even when in the right direction, may not overcome significant obstacles. Commissioners, do you have any comments or insight?
Mr. McGrath, did you intend to read this at town meeting as an objective to, as an objection to the warrant article 24?
No, I was just expressing observations that I had on the bylaw. I was hoping that the commission could agree on a position and what to say at town meeting. That's not my call.
Okay.
I was just offering observations from my experience.
Well, I kind of have to agree with you, Richard. They had that last meeting, right? And you hit it right on the head. So this amendment is just a way to them to demolish the building. But then you read the flip side, is Jeffries is on the TC Passios commission, and somehow they're going to miraculously find $17 million to upgrade that building. Because I read that in the ledger not too long ago. I just find it a little, odd. You know what I mean? Strange how what they're doing. So,
well, it's yet to be seen if the town is willing to spend 17 million to renovate TC Passios. I think Jeffries, yeah, he does. Well, he wanted to remove an impasse. So yeah, they want to demolish the building, and it was something that the select board managed to agree on. Like, let's demolish this building, and he recognized that if we denied the permit, then it would be through the Mass General laws would be the only way forward for them to demolish it. So yes, there would be this lawsuit where the town would sue the town. And I think that's where he really dug in. It was just like, this is ridiculous. We want to avoid that situation. But I think there's plenty of other ways to avoid that situation besides this amendment.
Well, the bylaw is the bylaw. I mean, the bylaw is there. It was voted upon. If somebody wants to do something different, I mean, you're changing everything, all the work that everybody did on that bylaw since its inception and since then.
Yeah.
The bylaw is the bylaw. If there's I don't know, it seems like a simple thing to just, that's what laws are for, to create more simplicity, to give you guidelines that this is what it is. I mean, to have an imaginary situation where a commission is going to sue the town, or the town's going to have to sue the commission. I don't see that at all. I mean, that building's been in violation of the bylaw for 2.5 years. We haven't made any hadn't had any conversation about suing the town. I don't even see that. It doesn't make any sense to me.
No, and Leandra Walker has also been in violation of the bylaw, and we've been encouraging her to fix it up. We've been trying to help her out. But no, we're not going to sue Leandra for a violation of the bylaw. That's just not, basically, we don't have enforcement power over that. All we can do is hope that people will comply, and certainly hope that the town would comply with its own bylaw.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Well, yeah, it is all a bit crazy. And I think I think your statement is well considered and well worded. The only criticism I have of it is just your analysis of the term aggrieved party. Just because I realize, okay, yeah, in the Mass General Law that means one thing, and in Article 24 that means something a little bit different. And I think to kind of dwell on that point actually confuses matters more than anything.
And in what way?
Well, I think you're suggesting that anybody in Massachusetts could come before well, you're saying anybody in Massachusetts could begin proceedings against a APDC decision.
Maybe even out of state. That's a very general term, aggrieved party. There's no specifics there.
Right, yeah.
That's not saying anything. That's saying everyone.
Right, and I don't think Article 24 changes anything. I don't think it invites any. Like, I think that stands, that anybody who's aggrieved by our decision anywhere could sue the town of Lunenburg. But I don't think Article 24 really has any bearing on that. Like that, including the language aggrieved party doesn't in any way open up an opportunity for somebody else to sue the town, because they already have that opportunity. That's already included in Mass General Law. So I think I don't think that's really relevant.
So in the appeals process, the aggrieved party and the APDC rules on a CTA for demolition and says no. And the aggrieved party comes back and appeals to the APDC, maybe has some different point of view to consider or something, and we still say no. Then the bylaw says they go to court if they wish. And let the court decide. That's the appeals process as it is presently.
That's the standing process. That's right. Yes.
Yes. So this, by saying aggrieved property, aggrieved person, the aggrieved is just a general person. So it goes through our appeals process. We say no. All right, so with the primary school, we say no, the building's in fine condition, we can't, it's against our mission and the bylaw that we're following to say, vote to tear that school down. It's contributing property in the APD and the historic district. So we say no, and then the town wants to tear it down is aggrieved party takes it to town meeting for a vote of whoever happens to be there on that day.
Right.
So it totally takes the power out of the APD. And
Yes.
so, but not only the select board could do that, but anybody in town could say, I disagree with what the APDC ruled on. I'm going to take it to town meeting.
Well, I think that was in the second version that Elaine Peterson forwarded to us, which did not make the warrant.
No, it's on the warrant. That's what is on the warrant.
No, it says here, any building or property owned by the town of Lunenburg.
Yes.
Oh, I see. A party aggrieved by okay, so anybody could be aggrieved, but only with respect to town property.
That's correct.
Okay. And it only with respect to denial of a certificate. So you couldn't be aggrieved if we granted a certificate and they didn't agree with that decision. If somebody submitted a certificate and submitted an application, we approved it, and somebody was aggrieved by it, they would not be entitled to this process.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, I see your point here. But yes, I agree. I think for the same reasons I stated, I did write an email to you guys about basically my interpretation of this, and that I objected to it for various reasons.
Yes.
And Tony, I mean, you've been quiet, but are you on the same page with us, or do you feel the same way?
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. Yeah, it's, yeah, they're just manipulating everything to get. I just say, I'm gonna say, they're just manipulating everything to get what they want, right? They want to tear down the building, so they're gonna manipulate the amendments, how we rule, how we do business to get what they want. They've already made their mind up, right? No matter what we do to try and save that building, they've already set it in their mind that they want to tear it down and put a
Yeah,
parking lot there.
Yeah, I
They
get
said it
And put a
verbally
parking lot there.
at the last meeting.
Huh?
At the last meeting, they said it verbally. That
Yeah.
their intent was to tear the building down, and the space will be part of a green space.
Yeah.
Yeah, which, you know, and if that's the legacy they want, then that's I mean, so where are they going to stop, right? So it's sometimes it's very frustrating. That's all I'm saying is, so where are they going to stop? Something else gets in their way? Let's make a parking lot. It's kind of, you know what I mean? It's frustrating.
It is, Tony. So, but I think it's best not to get too frustrated about these things. It's just, this is the way working for the town is like this, you know. It's frustrating. So,
I know.
yeah, let's just
Gotta
keep a
breathe,
positive
Tony.
attitude. Yeah, I basically, I feel like boy, I had a couple of thoughts here.
Sorry.
No, that's all right. Let me put it back together here. I've got it. Well, one thing that they don't mention, that they don't bring up, is the fact that we do have a hearing process. To tear the building down would be a major alteration, and so that would require a public hearing.
Yes.
And I feel like that would be a much more appropriate forum for this kind of a discussion than town meeting.
Mhm.
And again, if we were going to take a position at town meeting, I would come back to that point that town meeting is not the place to discuss these things. That we need to make our town meetings shorter and bring issues before people that they understand. So I think the public hearing process would be the time if everybody came forward and said, yes, tear this building down, it's past the point of saving, we don't want it. And if nobody came forward to defend it, then I think we would, at that point, have to say, okay, well, I guess that's too bad that you don't want to save this building, but we get the message, and we would have to grant the application.
Can I say something?
I mean, it is our duty to hear everything that people say in the public hearing, right?
It is, yes.
Really?
But we still have to follow the bylaw. We can't be swayed
do.
by public opinion.
Well, I mean, I think with the whole point of a public hearing, though, is that there should be some sway of public opinion, don't you think?
Oh, I think you consider everybody's opinion
Right.
and act in accordance with the bylaw and the rules and regulations, which are clear.
Right. I mean, we have our mission. All I'm saying is that if there was overwhelming support for the destruction of the building, I think we would have to give ground, is my opinion. But that it is really contrary to our mission, and that if we would be inclined to listen to those voices that said, no, this this is still important. This is a part of our history. We should preserve this. We decided that this is something that the town wanted to do, is to create a preservation district. So we would have to weigh both sides.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
yeah, you always consider everything for sure.
All right, because I think that's one point I'd like to bring up, is that there is already not an appeals process, but at least a public hearing process where, you know, where the public's voice will be heard regarding these matters. It's
Yeah,
not like we're going to make our decision without their input. And also, I feel like any appeals process is to ensure that the bylaw is implemented in an impartial and fair manner and in accordance with the bylaw.
yes,
And so if there were, say, members of the APDC who were, I don't know, just like being obstinate and denying people applications for re-roofing, or if there was future members of the APDC who just wanted to demolish everything and said, you know, who were, I don't know, working for the, you know, they were all developers or something and wanted to tear all the historic buildings down.
mhm,
I think either of those would be questionable, and there would need to be some sort of an appeal process to make sure that the APDC were actually following the bylaw.
we have that now. Right? If you have developers that this developer, so a developer wants to tear that building down.
Okay.
And the APDC, there's enough weight on the APDC that they vote to tear it down, even though the building is viable and developable, saleable.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do about it.
Well, yes.
Well,
Yeah, and that's
right. You didn't deny the demolition. The warrant
Right.
says denial of demolition. It doesn't say if you vote to keep it, that you can appeal that.
Well, yeah, and that's what I'm saying, is that's a problem with this appeal process, is that an appeal process should cover both sides. If the APDC is making just decisions that are inconsistent with its mission or unfair or biased or something like that, that's what an appeal process should be for.
And that's what we have, because if it doesn't ultimately on the APDC appeal pan out correctly, it goes to court and the court decides.
Right, which
So
is
it's all lawful. It's not, if you let this warrant, if the warrant is approved, it makes it like the Wild West. Anybody can come in and say anything
Right.
from any place. It's not like it's specific that if you're going to have the selectmen want to be in charge of the town buildings and say overrule the APD that says you can't demolish that building because it's not in bad condition and it's saleable. And it doesn't say the town manager can bring it to town meeting and the vote of the people can overrule the APDC. It says anybody,
right.
right? So they're dealing with town buildings, but they're letting anybody in to overrule the APDC.
Well, they're letting anybody in to bring it before the town.
Right, which would overrule the APDC if they vote for it.
Well, they could, and that's what I'm saying. I think I guess my point is just that the town, we can't expect the people of the town to understand the bylaw and the regulations of the APDC. And so I think the Article 24 is opening things up to be more biased rather than less, because it can be, as you say, it's a popular vote. And so whatever kind of has it won't be based on the bylaw, it'll be based on popularity.
Right.
Because the people of the town don't know and can't be expected to know all the ins and outs of the bylaw.
Yes.
And the appeals process should be based on the bylaw. making sure that the APDs followed its own process.
Exactly.
Right, okay.
The, any comment, Anthony?
No, you guys are pretty much covered it all.
Okay.
The,
Covered it all.
on a side issue, the, at the meeting with the select board that we attended after the meeting, Katie Adams said that, I think it was after, it might have been during. It was during our meeting. She said that she thought that the town shouldn't have a separate right than the people. I'm paraphrasing.
Mhm.
That people in the town should have the same ability to appeal to town meeting as the town did,
Right,
which if that happened, then it would really, it would totally got the process of the intention of the APD bylaw by cutting off the endpoint.
yeah. And I agree with her. I don't think that the town should have, like, there shouldn't be special rules for the town as a property owner.
Yeah,
I think there should be one rule for everybody, but
which there
I
is.
agree, it would be it would be sort of disastrous if everybody in town could come before a town meeting with their private grievances. So, yeah, I completely agree.
So do you want, what's the position that the commissioners want to take at town meeting?
I like when she said they won't be honest.
Oh, boy, Richard, I think we've discussed the matter, and I think we've kind of come to a certain agreement. I think it's just a matter of clarifying it and putting it down in writing. So
Do you want to take on that honor?
I would be happy to. I would be happy to. And perhaps I don't know, Tony. Do you feel like you're a good public speaker? I don't know if any of us are really.
No.
I think you're the best one.
I think so too.
I don't know about that. I think
Yeah, I've heard
Well,
you speak before, Ed.
Yeah.
At select board
right.
meetings.
As I say, you can lay down the rap pretty good, Colin.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, guys. Well, I think what I'd probably do is just go back. This meeting will be recorded, so I'll go back over and try to summarize the salient points that we agreed on from this discussion, and put that in writing to the best of my ability. If you would agree to that process.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree.
Okay.
Have that ready for Saturday.
All right. Any other discussion on the primary school?
So should I still try and should we still try and see if we can get money for it, or we think we're just wasting our
no.
time?
Yeah, I think you put that on hold for now.
Put that on hold.
Yeah. If you wanted to do some research is to see about getting the Ritter building on the National Register. I'm sure that would qualify, and the town seems to be wanting to keep that building, so that would be a good thing to do.
All right.
All right, I've nearly completed the application for the old primary school. I'm moving forward with that.
Yeah, definitely.
Who knows if it'll still be standing by the time the application's submitted, but
At least
yeah,
we'll have the plaque.
yeah, we have the plaque.
For the parking lot.
I guess I think that the application is reasonably complete, though I'd like it to be more complete. They have questions about, why this building is architecturally significant, what style it's built in, and the history of the building. And I don't know, I've found some resources on the internet and then gone back and tried to find them and lost them. So I know there's details missing. I know the Orange Book, The History of Lunenburg, has absolutely nothing on the old primary school. Doesn't mention it. So if you know of any resources that I could draw upon just to flesh out the application, or I guess that's one thing I would like. And secondly, if you know of any, it would be great if we could state an actual architectural style. I've been looking into that, and I don't know if there's any style category that it really fits under. But I wouldn't want to miss that if there was one.
Yeah, there is. I'll look, I got a lot of contacts with people restoring old schools around the state.
Okay.
Any other information you need?
I think those are the 2 points.
What was the other one?
The recognized style in which it was, the architectural style,
Yeah,
and just history or background about the school, any resources that you might have about why the building is important.
okay. I'll check on that. Anthony, when you look into the National Register, put together if you can put together a packet for the select board on National Register nomination and that particular building.
Okay. I'll I'll do a little research.
Yeah, and then we'll review it with you at a meeting before we submit it to the select board.
All right, Ritter Building. All right.
The present town hall is on the National Register, so that one's all set. It's just the other two that need to be nominated.
Okay, and Richard, you're certain that the Ritter Building is not on the National Register?
Not absolutely, but there's no plaque on it.
Okay.
So unless it's been removed. I have all the Form Bs, so they're either in the bags Becky gave me or they're in the file cabinet.
Okay.
So I'll have to check on that.
Yeah, it might be listed. Let's just look into that and make sure that it's not
All right.
listed before we do anything.
Yeah, yeah, let me check. I'll try to do that next week.
I think the way things are listed in Lunenburg is that we have a historic district. And so if you go to, there's a part of the Massachusetts, I think it's the Department of the Interior of Massachusetts.
It's the Mass Historical Commission has that information. They have a file on Lunenburg with all the Form Bs and the National Historic District.
Yeah.
Oh, but you're
That's right.
saying the Department of the Interior would have that information in Massachusetts?
I might be getting the name wrong. It's, there's a website called MACRIS, MACRIS, which is an inventory listing of all the historical properties. And so I think the Lunenburg Historic District is listed on that. And then under the district, there is a number of properties that are listed as inventory as part of that district. So we should check and see if the Ritter Building is on that inventory.
All right.
It's pretty easy to find that website. Just type in MACRIS, MACRIS.
All right. I'll mouse around tomorrow.
Okay, great.
Any other discussion, primary school?
Yes,
What?
I found a website. I can, if you want to send this to somebody.
And send it to Colin.
ExploreLunenburg.com. It's an inventory of historical buildings with photographs and historical and architectural notes by William Plaskett
Hmm.
from 1984.
Send one to me, send one to Colin and
Okay,
Anthony.
figure out how to share.
Brooks House, nothing else on Primary or Ritter, right?
Nope.
Brooks House, no new information.
Yeah, okay.
Have to try the planning board again.
Okay. Yeah, they were receptive last time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
must be busy.
Yep.
That's it. We did the APDC signs.
I just sent it.
And sent you, Colin, and Anthony. Laura found some information on Lunenburg buildings and schools from 1984.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Hopefully there's
I
something in
hope
there.
it's Lunenburg, Mass.
She hopes it's Lunenburg. It could be Lunenburg.
I think there's a Lunenburg in Illinois.
No, forget that
Nova
one.
Scotia,
Lunenburg,
yeah.
Nova Scotia.
Oh, that stinks.
Yeah,
I
that,
was so excited.
the Duke of
Oh, I think it's
Lunenburg.
Nova Scotia.
Yeah,
I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it now. Okay.
No,
Mm.
yeah, and here we go, town archives.
Laura.
Lunenburg. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, okay.
Any other business?
No, I get nothing.
Okay, next meeting schedule, May 26th. Motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I second that motion.
All in favor? Aye.
Colin Doris,
Colin.
aye.
Tony Nicastro, aye.
Richard McGrath, aye, aye. 8:27, meeting is over.
Oh, someone raised their hand.
Someone raised the, oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Wait a minute.
someone raised their hand. Someone. They're on mute. You have to unmute them, I guess. There you go.
Hi, this is Rhonda Licio calling from 181 Reservoir Road.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi. I just wanted to let you know that the chair of the Board of Selectmen has indicated he will be making an amendment to that article to change the broad language to any party aggrieved to just limit it to the town. Just
Yes,
because
okay.
you guys seem to be preparing for that, an argument for that. So I just wanted you, I mean, I think it's a bad article, period, but I just wanted you to be aware the chair is planning to amend that article.
I see.
And to make it more acceptable, I think.
Yes.
The other comment I had was, I did make a public comment to the Board of Selectmen, Select Board, excuse me, on April 6th. If you go on YouTube, and it was at the very beginning of the meeting, if you're interested in hearing that comment. I also commented at the TC Building Design Committee meeting, their last meeting in preparation for town meeting. I had gone online and looked at the design for TCP, and I wanted basically a breakdown of how much space they were allocating for each purpose. That building is 55,000 square feet. It contains not only the town offices, but school offices and school and community use. It seems to me the goal was to fill a 5,000 square foot building with as many things as they could. If you take the numbers that they're showing for the school offices, I see no reason why the Brooks House could not be fixed up and once again be used as the superintendent and other administrative offices. I also, the price tag on that building to renovate TCP is $334 per square foot.
Mm.
And my point to them was, you know, I would, as a taxpayer, I would consider a higher price tag per square foot if it were to restore a historic building. That building is not yet a historic building, and it won't be, I think, until 2027. That is the building that should be removed, and we should be fixing the historic buildings that we have and using them. If that means we have to be a little more cramped, I'm okay with that. Or if there's any possibility that the bylaw allows additions to some of these older buildings. You know, I'm certainly not an expert on the bylaws, but there is a reason that they want this amendment to the bylaw. Because they have ideas in their head that they want this big, massive complex instead of fixing up what we already have. I've been going to town meeting for years, and they say the people never wanted to invest in the buildings. They are the ones that bring the articles, the money articles to the people, and I can't, other than painting the town hall and minor repairs, they haven't brought any worthwhile, like, big projects or needs to the buildings, to the taxpayers at town meeting. That's why, that might be one of the reasons why those buildings are in disrepair.
Yes.
That's how I feel about it. But
Good, thank you.
just one person's opinion.
Yeah.
Sorry to keep you.
No, it's a good opinion.
Not at
Thank
all.
you.
Thank you for your
Glad-
commentary
glad
and
to
your
hear it.
support.
Okay. Have a good night.
All right.
I'll
Thank
see you at town meeting, hopefully.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Right. Night, commissioners.
All right, I'm going to amend our adjournment to 8:32, and I guess if we're agreed, then the meeting is adjourned then?
We are agreed.
Okay,
Agreed.
all right.
All right, gentlemen.
Gentlemen, thank you. Good night, good meeting.
Yeah, good night. Thank you.
All
Good
right.
night, thanks.
Mm.